as Tyler would say, aloha and welcome to this pre-season, post-season show of casual pre-season
I'm not
show.
wearing pants today.
That's fine.
It's fine. For the audio listeners, for the future Patreon listeners, if you need the ASMR of me not wearing pants, this is exactly what it sounds like. This is a preview. For the non-Patreon subscribers, what you're going to be hearing from now on is, the sound of me talking with pants on. But just so you know, you got the option in the future. No, we don't actually have Patreon. And, man, we are in between seasons. This is a thing. This is dark. The guild hall is it closed? Is it shut down? Is it under renovations?
Under renovations.
Okay, so
under renovations, we're managing the floor space a little bit, moving things around, setting up new areas for things that we're going to talk about.
So we're sweeping stuff up. We got a closed sign on the door, so nobody should break in and declare their challenge to the guild. Hopefully,
I mean, even if they were they could easily just very well take it because we're all sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping on Mai Tais.
My paladin character is suffering a 3rd level hangover right now. That's a tough spell to beat. That's a debuff, and you're dying of, I don't know, being stabbed by your own roses. You're just bleeding out. You're trying to sleep with it, but it's these thorns in my hands. I can't. The chains, they burn.
That'll happen.
That'll happen. Yes.
Yeah. Hi. How are you doing?
Hello, co-host Nick. So, I've been pretty much telling everybody and their mother that I am the host, and you didn't really have a name for you. You were a poster boy.
There. Yeah, poster boy. I was a poster boy, PR representative, dark wood elf.
You were interning, so to speak. And after, hello, phone.
Oh, hi.
So, as a professional podcaster,
right?
I would like to state for the record that you hit 20 episodes, and you're pretty much in there. I think you are on even grounds. So, I want to say for the record, for those who are listening, with the departure of Cam, Nick and I would like to believe us as partners now, as directly co-hosts. There's not going to be a host and the whatever the fuck Nick was. Oh, by the way, we're casually swearing.
We're casually, NS not safe for work now.
Yeah, just a little bit. Big surprise.
Because even when we had Operation Nightclub going, we weren't really abusing it. We'd have our moments, a few minutes where we just go over the top, but then we'd quickly forget about it because we just started talking about games and all the news around it or discussions around it, and we just completely forgot that we were allowed to swear.
Yeah, it turned into a 5-minute gag. We're gonna Nick and would look at me as I do the 5-second content, and then he would just blast whatever vulgarity he had for the entire podcast right there, and just all over Bethesda's face. And then it was okay, now we're done.
Yeah, so it made no sense to keep it as a a segment that we turn on halfway through. Just keep it casually not safe for work.
And so I'm very sorry to the Christian family going on a road trip right now with your 4 children in the back, and you're trying to listen to hear about video games, and all of a sudden some white guy just says, "What the fuck?"
They're about to learn some things. I mean, it's about time. It's the world. The world is a scary, open place. They were going to learn it eventually.
Okay, so I've torn into this magical list that we created for organization and threw it into chaos, but I guess we should actually look at it and see what's, we got things we're taking out, things we're adding. Nick, what are we taking out?
So this is the one thing I'm kind of excited that we're taking out, and not really excited. Kind of sad about it, but we're taking out the Pokemon Go Watch, or proverbial minute, as you put it.
You're taking out the Pokemon Go proverbial I can't be a co-host with you if you're going to take that out.
Tyler, you're just as relieved as I am.
Okay, so as Cam had mentioned last week, he realized that if we're going to have this minute, he was actually going to have to play it. Or was it you that said that, Nick?
It might have been him, or it might have been actually... I feel like that's something either of us could have said, because it just added this pressure to play.
Yeah, it was
you have to play at your own pace.
We had a titled piece for it, and it's something we're being forced to play even when there's doldrums to be had. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's like people want to hear us talk about Pokemon Go, and that's fantastic. But that doesn't mean that we're going to make this a daily brand in our lives when it doesn't seem like it's the fitting moment for it. Plus, Amanda still has my Pokemon Go Plus, so I'm in dire straits over here. I'm fiending for my daily catch bonus. Oh gosh. So yes, the Pokemon Go watch is going to go out. We already talked about Operation Nightclub.
Yep.
Operation Nightclub was a complete success by my personal opinion. We're vulgar and we're happy. And finally, we are going to take out the quiz for the Nick Switch initiative. But that is because of great news, actually.
Very
Nick,
good news. Yes.
Nick, you are in the very near future. Like, I think if we're having this come out on Monday, tomorrow
Should be
for our
like
audio
yeah,
listeners.
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow you're going to have a Nintendo Switch on your
Yes.
doorstep, ready to be stolen.
Yes.
Of course, Canadians are, like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to, take that one. This is my bad. But I don't know. College folks they're crazy, dude.
No, they're just gonna leave a little thing on my door, and then I have to go pick it up at the local shoppers.
That's right, right.
Yeah.
Colleges are smart nowadays. They don't just leave it down the hallway where it says Nintendo right on the back and says,
Yeah.
very pricey. Please do not steal.
Sadly enough, I won't be able to actually open it up and play it until the weekend.
The
So it comes
weekend.
on the Tuesday, because I have 2 assignments and a midterm due that entire week, and so I've decided to save my grades a little bit by not unboxing it until the weekend.
I mean, you can play Hulu on it or something. Actually, no, I think you have to pay for the Nintendo Switch Online to do something like that, so maybe not. I don't know about that one, actually. I feel like it's 50-50. I don't... Okay, well, by
But
the time...
regardless, I will have it.
Yes, by the time we have an official episode of Season 2, Nick will hopefully have been able to give a chance to open it up and plug it in and see if it works.
Yes.
And so that is the stuff we are taking out. We're taking out Operation Nightclub because we're going to fully install it. Nick Switch Initiative is gone. Pokemon Go Watch is gone. But we're going to add a couple of things. Nick, we know that we're going to take out, or we're going to put in the casual and not safe for work. What else are we doing, man?
So we workshopped this for about, I think our total conversation after last week's recording was about 2 hours, 2.5
Yes.
hours, maybe something like that.
Yes, the podcast took 1 hour and 5 minutes to record. And then the brainstorming, if you want to call it that, which led to copious amounts of discussion about sex position, porn podcast, video games, I'm sure, hopefully. And then eventually talking about the structure of the podcast.
That could have been an entire new show on its own, Tyler. Now that I think about
it
it,
could've.
we should just hit record.
Oh, man. Yes. That, yes. I did put up.
Casual Master Quest goes wild.
So the first thing we installed is we both got to be shirtless during the podcast recording.
Yes, of course.
And there's going to be one of us has whipped cream, the other person has chocolate syrup, and we.
And for the sake of contrast, you're gonna have the chocolate syrup, and I'm gonna have the whipped cream.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Thankfully, I don't like solid chocolate, but I love liquid or flavored chocolate. Because solid chocolate hurts my teeth.
I don't like chocolate regardless, but I can make some exceptions depending on the activity.
Hey,
Wink,
yeah,
wink,
whipped
nudge,
cream.
nudge.
And with a guy like your flavor, I'm gonna love chocolate. Am I right? Heyo. Okay, so story time of the week. So we like to talk about video games. We also like to talk about things that we did. However, there's always that one story that we kind of craft in our head. Maybe it was this week, maybe it was this year, maybe it was something in the past. But there's always that one story about that time you played a video game or something happened, and you got it locked away in your head. And it's like, man, I'm never going to tell the story to my friends at college because, A, they're going to be too drunk to care. Or they're just going to call me a nerd. This is the moment. You unleash your third eye, and then you tell us something embarrassing about yourself. Or, cool. Or cool. Yeah.
So, story time, story segment of the week, because we love to go off on tangents. We love to give every to hyper. What's the word? Hyperbolize every not every little detail, but a lot of the things that we talk about. And
Speaking of details, let me tell you about the time that I stole a cartridge of Majora's Mask.
All right, what kind of cartridge was it?
It was a Nintendo 64 cartridge.
Right.
I was staying the night at a friend's house, aka a bully who I was nice to, and therefore he was okay with me. And I never owned a video game system before at that time. I think I might have had a Super Nintendo. stayed the night there. He had us play Pokemon Stadium 2, played the mini games with that and 2 other friends. We all stayed the night, even though we lived like 50 feet away from each other's houses, and it was miserable over there because we were both, I'd say, around 12, 13 years old, and this guy was pushing about 300 pounds. Now, he was a big guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're the type of people that didn't like to bathe as much. And that can lead to heavy complications, especially if you fall asleep on a bed without washing the sheets after a while. It gets funky. So, one time I wake up, I go to the bathroom. I didn't want to go back in there, so I snuck into the room right next to the bathroom, and it was a game room. And it just, Nintendo 64 was hooked up to it, and it was glorious because there was a game called Ocarina of Time in there. And that was my first time playing Ocarina of Time. I was like, oh, wow, was a 3D Zelda. This is magic. And then I saw it. And this little case next to this Nintendo 64 was a golden cartridge. And it was the only other, shiny to me. That was super, dude.
Especially late at night.
And it was 2 o'clock in the morning. No one knows I'm up. No one knows, by the time they check to see if there's something off, they're like, must have put it somewhere else. And it just, poof, disappeared. Right into my pocket. I put it somewhere obscene to where they could have never found it. And then I hid it in the bathroom in my medicine cabinet for about 3 years until the childhood, whatever. What's that law after 7 years? The limit of statute of limitations or something like that. Right. The statute. And, for 3 years, that's not how it works, but that's okay.
Close enough.
And then, by 3 years, I had gotten a Nintendo 64 finally, which is a different story, actually, but I'll hold off on that one. And then I finally, after 3 years of stealing this game and holding on to it, this was interest compounded on this thing. I put in a 64. I was so excited. And then I realized this Nintendo 64 didn't have an expansion pack, which you needed to play this game at the time. And it was pushing towards the GameCube age at that time, so nobody had an expansion pack for sale, over at the local Walmart. So I was shit out of luck. It was terrible. Also, I deserve that because I still.
Oh no, yeah, you 100% deserve that.
And it stinks because to this day, I want to contact this person and say I'm sorry. It wasn't, it was a dumb action on my part, and I want to return to you or make it up to you in some shape or form. But hey, it wasn't even the kids who I stayed the night with. It was his older brothers, and I don't even know how to contact that person. I don't know what their age is, and I remember the friend's name, so I guess I could go that route. But to this
day,
it
just seems like a lot of energy for something.
It's like, would they care at this point? It's like, are they? It's like,
imagine if they actually did. Imagine then they're like, they went all John Wick on you.
you took Majora's Mask. I'm gonna blow each and every amiibo off your shelf and make you watch.
So my question is, do you still have that game?
I still have the game. I don't have the cartridge anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, tough times on my end. I think I must have lost it because in my heart of hearts, I would like to say maybe one Zelda game I've ever sold or given off. Because it's just not my thing. I don't have the heart to do something like that because it's too precious to me. So it probably just got lost in the process of moving or something like that.
Okay.
So tangents. You're talking about tangents?
Yeah. So this is what you could probably expect from Story Time of the Week or the Story Segment of the Week. We might even include any particularly interesting news pieces we find. Because we talked about this a lot. We don't necessarily want to be like a news podcast, but there are always some pieces that we have to talk about.
Yeah, there's times where it's like it's too big to ignore at a certain point.
Exactly.
I enjoy the idea of remaining topical, but also trying to remain in such a way that you could listen to this podcast anytime you wanted to. So if we talk very strictly about news pieces of the time, the show gets dated real quickly. Yep. But if it's something historically that, it's going to be there and everybody's going to hear about it and like, oh man, did you hear about this? But, I want more information and you stumble across us, then, that's just as fine too. But like, I don't want to talk about the video game weather of the week, but if there's a hurricane level 5 event going on, sure.
Like with the last week's episode with Telltale Games, like that
was a serious thing. Ooh.
Yeah. And so the intent for this section is to be very modular, where we can just sort of like rotate different kinds of segments, pieces, topics through it. just so it gives us some flexibility, and we're not boxed into speaking about something particular every week, and it gives us a little bit more freedom in exploring how this is going to work out too, because this is something new for me, and I don't know about for Tyler. Two-manning a show. Is that something you've had experience with before?
Super Goon Squad started off with only 2 people, and there's a huge difference, I'd like to think personally, because 3's a group, 2's a conversation, and we will have some difficulty trying to find opposing views to help, spread the attention to the conversation. Because there's some people who will listen and we'll both talk and agree about the same thing, but then the listener is like, "That's ridiculous! You're full of crap." But then when we had the third person's like, "Hello, opposing view," and then the listener's like, "I like this guy. This guy needs to play the Vita." And sorry, I dropped that. but
I mean that's fair. That's in pretty much in line with real life as well. You need any kind of discussion around any kind of topic needs to have its healthy dose of opposing, like, for and against views.
Absolutely. I love being the devil's advocate, so I think we're fine, honestly. And as Nick here suggested, he calls it modular, which symbols to me in a way of like trying to allude to Destiny, I'm guessing. Let's mod this weapon with this mod.
No, because mods are like because with mods you can only apply them once, and if a weapon comes with a mod already on it, you can't get it off and apply a new one. So
Riven's curse with the armor pieces. Thank you. Anyways, so yes, sometimes it might not be story time of the week. Maybe we'll be talking about something else, like maybe a musical segment or a historical moment, like because news might not be crazy that time, but we have never talked about the great video game depression of the late 80s. There's little things that we might want to discuss, because Nick was here. He was really flattering to me about this. He told me offline, and I probably shouldn't bring it on because I might make him blush. He told me that he really liked my History of Nintendo podcast, and I worked really hard on that. But we want to talk more about history of video games and video game companies, so that's another section we can do. If it feels like the news is stale that week, then we're going to pull that out as a mod, and then modularly or molecularly, whatever magical word that starts with M, we're going to put another piece that sounds more interesting at the time. Keep it fresh. Other mentions would be fact of the week. So, what is a fact of the week?
So I think this is just a remnant of your idea of looking for games released on this day or this week. And so I forgot to take it out. And so I believe we agreed to compound that into the game releases this week. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that, for the most part, in a general sense, that is what we're going to be adding in. And Nick built a general structure of what we would potentially talk about. Now, some parts might be missing, but some parts might be more heavily emphasized depending on what kind of episode we feel like, just to keep it fresh every single time. So it looks like we would start off with talking about in real life stuff. It's because every single time I picked on Hugh or our other previous podcast member, Cam, I would ask, hey, how's you guys' week going on? What's going on here? I want to hear about your lives. I want to understand you as a person. And then it's like, oh yes, the Vita and the Wii U, well alive. Oh man, I love Destiny too. Yeah. And it's like, no, I don't want to talk about your video games yet. I want to hear about you. Unless that thing is grafted into your shoulder or something like that, just hold off on the video game talk. Tell me about the miseries that is your everyday life.
Which is something I was always primed, because so for listeners won't know this, but when we record the podcast is usually a little bit too. It's very much touch and go for me between waking up and actually getting on to record. I always come primed, ready to talk about video games. He's like, "Oh, how's it going?" I'm like, "Video games. This is what I game this week."
That's what they do.
Pretty much. So
it just gets everywhere. It's messy.
So I'm hoping, and now I'm consciously putting the effort to think about. All right, if you ask me how I am. Online while we're recording, he's asking me how I am, not tell me about your games without the game situation, right?
How are you? I'm actually 561. Thank you for asking. I don't need the no.
Actually, I'm 565.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Still at 549. I'm working for 550, but it's still higher than everybody else I'm been working
that's
with.
a good.
That's a good number.
You climb quick.
It just stinks because the only thing I got
really
is
lucky with your loot drops. Then,
I love it when people tell me that, especially on other podcasts.
In comparison to where you were 2 weeks ago to where you are now, mind you, they did add like more sources for powerful gear, but you climbed that quick because you're getting. Forget the edge transits. We love our edge transits.
We love our edge transits. I don't have
lucky with at least one like big upgrade for each slot, and then it sort of plateaus. Like now, I haven't gotten a single upgrade. I'm getting only weapons. I don't need weapons. My class item is what's holding me back. So
actually, it's what I need right now is weapons.
Yeah.
But in my defense, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's by luck. You're just getting dumb good RNG and whatnot." It's like, well, no. There's been shown that there's 3 different tiers of RNG with the powerful gear. If you do like the weeklies over at the Yield, Warmind, or Curse of Osiris planets, or with Asher for this example, you're gonna get sweet 520s. Or since it's gonna upgrade to your level, it's gonna give you like 1 or 2 below your level, or if you're lucky, the same level. And it's not until officially when you start doing Forsaken level stuff that you're going to actually start to see official upgrades.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I know, I did that. And I also did all the quests. I made sure to do every single quest that was available to me. I put in the effort to make sure to do the Crucible and all that stuff. I also had a couple advantages that other people did not because I was in the clan. By doing a clan, I was able to do the clan Ingrams. Get the clan Ingrams, I also get the clan weekly going on. And then after that, I would farm Prime Ingrams like they're going out of style. I think that's the huge difference between being lucky than maybe I'm spending a little too much time in this game. Maybe I should tone it off a little bit.
Welcome to Destiny, Tyler.
I want 550, man.
You're welcome, Guardian.
I need it.
But you're raid ready, pretty much.
You think so?
Yeah. There have been people who've cleared the raid at 530, 535, 534.
I'm flattered, man. But I tried to do. Well, I did a Nightfall last night, and I was put in my place very quickly. Like
okay, but the Nightfalls, did you do with any modifiers on?
I mean, what would be considered a modifier when I just click Nightfall Go?
Did you do it solo?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I played with 2 other randos, but the rando was in charge of it, so I wouldn't know if they applied modifiers.
So the Nightfall has like a challenge card.
Yeah.
And it should be in your inventory. If it's blue, it'll only have element modifiers, so Arc, Void, or Solar Singe, and then it should have only the one negative modifier, and it should be extinguished. So if your entire fire team dies in a restricted respawn zone, you go back to orbit.
Oh, wow. I
believe I could be very wrong.
I did not do that, thank God.
I think you have to apply it, but then you can make it easier on yourself. So if you go to Xur and you pick up the legendary Nightfall card, you can add 1 or 2 good modifiers and then 3 bad modifiers, or some combination of the
see Xur again.
Because the more negative modifiers you have, the harder you make it for yourself, the more points you get. And once you reach a certain threshold, it makes it easier for that Nightfall exclusive loot to drop.
Okay. So
like the very basic that makes it easier on yourself is heavyweight and elemental singe. Heavyweight means power weapons do more damage and power ammo is more available.
Cool.
Yeah.
So would it be by your recommendation then to do Nightfall beyond just the one time for the weekly?
I mean, once you get up to that point where you can start actually actively challenging for that score, the 100,000 plus.
I have not been able to do that just yet. It feels like the people I play with are not capable of doing that either.
Yeah, you should be able to, because Nightfall's at 540, so you should be able to at your light. You just have to have good people to do it with, and then just get used to and also you're not used to the strikes yet. You're not used to just the way it is yet. Once you're a little bit more familiar with how it is, once you get the more optimal loadout, optimal DPS, stuff like that,
It's fair enough. I've been actually playing a lot more strikes because I want to get up pretty far with the Vanguard. And as it turns out, doing strikes gives you Vanguard tokens. So anyways, like you said, tangents.
Yeah, that's what happens. So yeah, the general structure, we talk about IRL stuff. That's going to be up first. We're keeping what we've been playing this week segment.
Which we just did.
Then we're going to jump into the modular segment.
Such as story time of the week, history stuff, music stuff, anything that's super topical at the time, yes.
Then we can have a topic of the show, depending on what we're doing with the modular segment that week, I feel.
Right. I feel like topic of the show would be like a present day discussion news segment. Whereas, when I say something topical, I mean like we're bringing back the PlayStation 1. Let's talk about the PlayStation 1's history, kind of stuff. That at least that's what it'd be like in my head. By the way, PlayStation 1 Mini coming out soon.
I heard about that. That seems exciting.
It sounds pretty cool. There's a couple of good games on it so far, but there's some stuff that they haven't announced yet, so I'm hoping for it. Anyways, also game releases this week, which is that's an oldie but goodie. And then along with that, I wanted to talk about video game anniversaries. Like there's a certain website we can look out and we'll give full credit to once we find it again. That is like, 2 years ago on this day, this game came out, and it's like, oh, that's cool. This game has been 2 years old and hit this many millions in sales, or dozens, depending if it went good or not. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I want to add that in, and I didn't strong arm Nick at all. Yes, I did. And so we're gonna push that idea forward. And then that is the segment. Interesting games released in the past.
Yeah.
And then finally, we'll do our wrap up and plugins and all that stuff. Tell about all the fun games that we play and we shill off in our streams on our own.
Pretty much.
Because we are super uber affiliates with Twitch with our streams. Twitch.tv/2times Tyler, all one word, all letters. Okay. I was waiting for you to follow it immediately right up.
It's like, they'll know where to find me. I mean,
they'll know where to find you.
Seen this beard?
Oh yeah, I did definitely trim mine down. I decided to drop myself by about 5 years.
I know I have to get a trim soon too. Do we want to talk about the length of the show on what we're trying to aim for?
Sure. I mean, if there's anything we want to talk about, now would be the time to do it. I mean, unless you want to give them a 20-minute special, like, man, you're looking great today, Nick. How are you doing, buddy?
This is like a not so non-casual Master Quest episode.
Yeah, this is super casual Master Quest. Man, we don't even have the fire started. We just got candles around here. We're so lazy. Oh, jeez. No one's doing the laundry. It's piled up.
Keep it under an hour and a half.
Yes.
I think that's what we agreed.
We originally were trying to do an hour, 20 minutes, but then things happened and we started going on super wild tangents every chance we got. Yeah. And we kept adding more and more to the show. Like, it started off with, talking about our games we're playing, news segment, emails if we had it, which we never did. And then,
except for the one for Los.
Except for one. Thank you, Los. Thank you, Papa Los. And then we added Pokemon Go Minute. And then we
went from minute to like a full 10-15 minute ramble at times.
And then I stopped yelling at Nick to stop talking about Destiny 2. And so that added another 20 minutes. And then
everybody started playing Destiny 2, and then that added
another hour. And then we added the Nick Switch Initiative. And then we just kept adding, new segments and then topic of the show. And before we know it, we're pushing 2 hours. So we're like, oh my gosh, no, please stop. So with all this trimming that we've done, and we're adding stuff in, but I think the first one is going to be a little kind of wonky. We won't know the exact time, but we'll get a good feel for it. We're pushing for about an hour, hour and a half. Not too crazy far. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't mind a 2.5 hour podcast. More money for his bang. It's like,
yeah, but you're not the one recording it. You're not the one talking about.
There's a difference between me at the first 5 minutes of the show versus at the end. I'm like, hey, hello, my name's Tyler. How's it going? Yeah, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? I'm so dead inside.
Especially during the summer when we started, it was hot.
Oh yeah.
And so having to turn off, air conditioning, fans and whatnot, it just made it harder just sitting there for that straight 2 hours and then
I was chugging water and sweating to death. Yeah. Speaking of which, what temperature is it like over there right now?
I will tell you in American.
Oh, that's right. What is it in Celsius?
Which is 63 Fahrenheit.
Okay, I only heard the second part of that. I didn't hear the beginning.
Oh, sorry. So it is 17 degrees Celsius. So that's 63 Fahrenheit.
Oh, so it's pretty cool over there.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing temperatures of 50 within the week.
Ooh, that's nice.
I'm excited.
I love weather. I can finally white woman love my pumpkin spice stuff now. Like I don't like drinking pumpkin spice flavored stuff until it starts to dip below 50. Because at that point, it's like if it's 55 degrees, that's spring weather to me. It's like I can't drink hot stuff at 55. It makes me feel.
Do you want the controversial take for the week, for the episode?
Sure, fight me, noob.
Pumpkin spice is trash.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But I'm okay with that because
here's my reasoning why. It's because growing up, we used pumpkins to make like savory dishes.
Yeah.
So the fact that people are using it to make like sweet stuff, it's mind-boggling. Like I can't get over it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, when you think of pumpkin spice, what is the first thing that you think of, like the original main food ingredient?
Nothing, because I've never heard of pumpkin spice till I moved to North America.
Well, for me, it's pumpkin pie. Pumpkin, like when you
so pumpkin pie is the origin of it. I would argue they wanted like, hey guys, what if we took the pumpkin pie and put it in a cup, which is what I'm assuming that's where the whole thing came from.
Oh yeah.
But we never had pumpkin pie growing up. We never used pumpkin in that way, so it's just weird.
And it's also crazy because a lot of people get pumpkin mixed up with pumpkin spice, because if you tried actual pumpkin, it's not as good as what people tell themselves to. Like,
it's not sweet at all. It's just it's a gourd. Like it's categorized as a gourd, and it's like it's delicious. You throw in some chili powder, some garlic powder, cumin, coriander. Get it all nice and soft. Mix it up together. Yeah, it's nice. It's really decent.
And also, I want to give my hot take for it's up to you if you want to agree or disagree with it. Pumpkin pie is great. Sweet potato pie is 100 times better in my book. I love sweet potato pie by far.
So I'm talking about pumpkin spice specifically. I've had pumpkin pie before. I don't know if it was good or not, but it was okay. I didn't.
You don't know I put it in my mouth and I had no data input of it.
No, because I think it was store bought, and I don't generally trust like generic store bought stuff to be like my defining standard of whether this is good or bad.
But the $4 pumpkin pie at Walmart is fantastic.
Walmart is trash. Please.
Oh, it's Walmart. Of course it's trash. Oh my gosh, when it's raining, I get wet. You want to point out that, oh man, my hand in this fire, I feel a little toasty. Yes, I know.
Walmart. Yeah, okay, so I don't know if I had good pumpkin pie or not. I don't believe I've had sweet potato pie.
I mean, the average American standard of a food item nowadays is now based off the product of it as you can get it from either Walmart or McDonald's. Take your pick. And it's depressing when you think about it, because that means their tasting platitude is horrifying. But to that extent, if you were to get a sweet potato pie or a pumpkin pie from there, I would say the sweet potato pie would be by far a better tasting thing. And it's weird because a lot of people can't tell the difference. And the people that do are usually abhorrently they're horrified by sweet potato. I love sweet potato, but some people can't tell, the difference between sweet potato or squash or pumpkin spice. Sometimes, pumpkin spice is like a extra sweet potato. It's like, no. So yeah, another tangent for you guys.
There we go. And that's how we do. That's how it happens.
Okay, so are we still gonna be recording on Saturdays, releasing on Monday?
I'm good with that. Like
I'm
that
good
works
with that
for me.
too.
Yeah, it fits right into my current schedule this semester, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we're going to give the people that listen a little behind the scenes stuff here. So, should we stick with the 5 p.m. thing, or do you want to do it sooner? Do you want to do it later?
I feel like having it a little bit flexible as we did is best, because I'm getting into the shit right now with group projects and all my assignments and midterms. So, like this week, I had the luxury of being able to stay up late to play Destiny, but it might not be the case next week. Next week or the week after, it'll probably be because I'm out on campus at 2 a.m. and I only get home at 4.
Okay. And on my end, my job typically is going to be first shift, so it wouldn't be affected normally. Right. However, the driver, I'm a relief driver, but normally I would be a warehouse worker that would be on call for a position. Warehouse position is first shift. A driving position is third shift. So at the very least, they're going to have me train for a week or two on their driver routes just to make sure I know where I'm going. I'm not going to accidentally blow something up. So I'm going to be doing third shift. So probably later for me would be better.
Okay.
Or, as soon as I get home, but you don't want to.
And obviously I'm on the West Coast, you're on the East Coast, and I'm not about to say that, we have to do it only on my time, but it's usually not going to be later than, I think the latest start we had was a 3 p.m. start on my time, so 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Western.
Yeah, there was one time we almost pushed at 7:30, 8 o'clock due to a magical thunderstorm on the East Coast, but...
Right. And that's hardly going to be ever. It's going to be between 12 and 2 Pacific Standard, and what is that? 3 and 5 Eastern Standard. I feel like that's always a good window.
And it's going to be a lot nicer, too, because you're not going to tell me, we got to, end this, halfway through the show because I got to go to a party. We can actually set it up and do it proper.
Yeah, no, because I don't actually have, except for school and home, I don't actually do anything.
Yeah, I have no life, Destiny.
Except for tonight, I'm going out for dinner, which is nice because I get to see other humans.
Are you going with the person of interest? 1 week?
No, it's a friend's birthday party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not your friend yet.
I would like to think she is.
Nick, you got to work it through, man. Yeah, we need a topic of the show for next week, man.
Well, I mean, we have the IRL section now, so
that is true. That is true. So let's see. Is there anything else that we need to cover? How about music? Because we wanted to update the music. Any luck on your end with talking with that gentleman?
Yes.
Does he have a ransom note yet?
I think I can safely say that he's working on something, and he said he's not sure whether we're gonna like it or not, and he'll let me know. He has not responded to my ransom note yet, so we're just cautiously, optimistically waiting on the sidelines for now on that.
I mean, when it comes to other people creating work for me to use, for example, artwork or music work or anything like that, usually I personally hate it, but I'll tell them I love it and I'll portray as me loving it because I have ridiculous standards. And, as a person who is an artist, they have to deal with that all the time. The customer's like, I envisioned in my head and I portrayed it. It's like people who read books and see the movies. Harry Potter has that tussle much of a hair? No, that's forbidden in my fan fiction of a headset or mindset. And it's like, no, they did their spin on it. I love it because it looks and it's professionally done. So I'm hoping that.
And to some extent, I can understand that, but it becomes difficult because for that to happen, for it to be what you want, for you be like you 100% happy with it, you'd have to be there in the studio with them while they're doing their thing, and then give them they'd ask you, all right, how does this sound, and be like, no, I want it to sound more like this, and be like, all right, I can do that, and it had to be like a constant personal back and forth that we just can't
afford. First off, I can't afford the medical bills that would occur after that guy spent 2 minutes of me trying to suggest edits. Look, I need more modulation. Can you put a little more strings here? No, not violin. I need viola. Thank you. Jeez. Orchestra. Orchestra. No orchestration.
But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't want to say anything more on the case that I make false promises or false accusations. Do you know what I mean? That's as much as I can say safely. There's something being worked on.
Okay, cool. Something in the works, and if it's not ready by the time we're done, then I'll pull something out of my ass and then toss it in the field and say, hey, that's our team show for now.
Okay.
Interim. Just me making weird noises. Casual.
We could do that. We could do that too. We could just have a recording session where we just make a soundboard of all the different sounds you want.
Oh man!
And you get a little beat pad, and then you just go, let's try this. Let's try that.
Destiny. What? Destiny. Play the feed of Destiny. What? Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's pretty much it about what's happening. What people can expect in season 2.
Yes, I believe we don't have any plans in terms of solidifying a guest list or anything like that. However, if you are listening and you are of the the podcasting society and you feel like you want a place to maybe cross promote, maybe you got something that you want to talk about, feel free. Or you just want to say hi and just hang out with us because we're nice. I promise we're nice. We're casual and
we don't bite.
We don't use these chains unless there's an interview. Okay, so I
can put on my shirt if you ask nicely. So
I can take it off if you ask even nicer.
I'm already
Not my
like,
shirt, his shirt. I'll take his shirt off for him. I'll get it stuck like I had his arms and stuff, and then it'll be a
there's one last tangent I wanted to go off on.
Yeah.
So as you might be aware of, there's this little trend going across the internet that's sweeping the nation, taking the world by storm.
I bow to this transition.
I love the internet. I really do sometimes. I'm not upset about this. So of course I am referring to Bowsette.
Yes, Bowsette.
Yes.
So you want to explain the origin of this one, or
So as far as I know, and this is me with my very, very wobbly knowledge of the Mario
I'll either
universe.
concur or tell you you're wrong. Don't worry. I
So there's a little Toad character, and there's a female version of the Toad character, Toadette. And so there's a power up that exists that turns her into a Peach lookalike, and so she was called Peachette. And so
Nintendo Direct, they were talking about the Switch release of Super Mario Brothers, not you, but Super Mario Brothers Switch.
Right.
And they showed Toadette and then a special mushroom with a crown on it. And when she put it on, she turned into Princess Peach, which caused a minor outrage. So it was confusing.
Yeah, and then there was a comic. It started from one man of a scene where comic artist.
You just assume this artist's gender?
Yes, I did. It started by one person.
Oh, okay.
One human being, where they drew a scene of Princess Peach rejecting Bowser and Mario.
Yeah, from the end of Odyssey.
From the end of Odyssey. So I haven't played Odyssey yet, so now thank you for the spoilers, Tyler. Now I can play the game.
Yes, Peach is still single and looking.
And so to turn her jealous, to make her jealous, to show her what she's missing out on, Bowser suggests that he wear the crown that turns Toadette into Peachette, and Mario's down with the plan, and all of a sudden we have this hulking, beautiful woman known as Bowsette.
Yes. And there's a couple of variations with it, and I don't know how you feel about it. A lot of people said, if you look at Peachette, the character model, like Peachette's hair has the little balls that Toadette had and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So if you're to stay true to the form, there's a couple of renditions of that. I don't like that. I'm sorry. It's kind of weird. But the two big ones, the big difference is blonde hair from Peach versus the red hair of Bowser. Right. And I really like the red hair, tan skin.
I really like the red hair, yeah. Same.
Because it pretty much looks like Peach with horns at that point, and veins and whatnot. And that's okay. It's okay. Because I believe Nintendo actually had a small comic made as part of an instruction manual showing Bowser as Bowsette. Like that, there is a semi-canon version of this, not in correlation to the story.
Right, of course.
Bowser Rule 63.
Or at least what the internet's done, yeah.
Of course. And it shows, with blonde hair and all that stuff, man. Or, it's like, no, I would love to have her with red hair. And also, a lot of people are saying, well, this is ridiculous. Why are you making Bowser look like a super thin anime character? Yep. Let's make her thick.
Yeah, she needs to be thick. Like a milkshake.
She cannot be wearing socks that don't look like they're being ripped at the seams thick. Like, I need to see some tears.
You need to visually be able to see that her thighs could crush skulls. Because it only falls in line with Bowser.
Be able to put a watermelon between them knees and then just...
and then people have gone up, obviously, as the internet does, they've gone up to make their own renditions of Bouette. And then you've got Chompette. And then they started and then they started getting really weird with it. They started putting the crown on the hills in the first level of Super Mario, and then making Hillette, and it's just the internet is its own place.
All right,
and Nintendo's just kind of like, well,
did Nintendo have any kind of official response to this yet? I didn't see any.
No, but people started making their own Bowsette amiibos.
Ooh,
because you can make custom amiibos, right?
Now, do you think Nintendo will respond to it in a way that is catering to the community as a whole? Do you think that they're going to incorporate Bowsette in some shape or form, even if it's their own version of Bowsette? Because I feel like if they did say, okay, Bowsette's going to be a thing, they're not going to look at the fan art. They're going to look at their art designers and say, do what you think is a Rule 63 Bowser, go.
I feel like they would have to I feel like if they were smart and they wanted to make money, they would.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, though, where would they incorporate Bowsette? Would they do it in, like, Mario Tennis Aces? Would they incorporate it in the Super Mario Bros. U, where Bowser is not a playable character, but rather a boss? Like, could you imagine fighting a giant Bowsette shooting out of the lava and whatnot and just throwing these lava balls at you? I feel like that would upgrade the ESRB rating of that a little bit higher.
Just a tiny bit.
Just because of the power physics of the Switch, mind you.
I don't know. I mean, only time will tell. Time will tell.
I feel like Bowsette should be. I feel like she would be great for sports games or Super Mario Party or something like that.
If they were smart about it, they'd introduce her as like a late addition into Super Smash Bros.
Ooh.
Right?
Bowsette comes into play
as a way of like, this crown can apply to other people, but we're only allowing it to be applied to Bowser as well. Right?
So, a side question to this, and this is a stereotype, so sidestep it with me if you could. When the original Mario came out in Princess Toadstool, aka Princess Peach, it was kind of considered that they were an item. They were in a special relationship. Right. And then later on with Super Mario Land, Mario saved Princess Daisy, but then it started kind of getting suggested that Daisy and Luigi is a thing.
Right.
Bowsette is technically a princess.
Technically.
And I want to make the argument that being the evil princess of sorts, could she be shipped with somebody of the Nemesis variety, such as Wario or Waluigi? If that's the case, who would her cohort/partner be in this case?
Nobody. She's the queen. Nobody's good enough for her.
She's the queen. She's not the princess. She is the queen. I like that. That is true.
Nobody's good enough for her. Mario's not even good enough for anybody in the game. Like, truth be told.
She can have slaves. Which of the two would you think she could enslave? I feel like
all of them.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think. Well, Wario is always in it for the money, and
it'll probably be Waluigi who'd fall into the trap really quick.
Yeah, Waluigi's like, I have any redeeming features, love me, and he just falls into the cage and gets like, I'll do anything you were saying, and suddenly it's Waluigi and Bowsette. Like, I'll take it, sure. Yep. If that gets them into another game that isn't freaking Ennis or Party. That's it. That's all I.
And before we have to start a petition to add Waluigi and Bowsette to the game.
Oh man, poor Wario is like, I just wanted my coins. Please, somebody buy me a 3DS game. Oh jeez. Okay. So Bowsette, she's good.
Yep.
She is fair. She's all ruling.
She gets Nick's approval.
Oh man, she gets solid approval. So with the Nick Switch initiative all over, that means we already talked about this a little bit. You have the Nintendo Switch coming your way, and I've posed the question to you, but you haven't suggested anything yet. Have you still yet to figure out what you want to be your first game?
No idea. I think it might just end up being Zelda. Because it's iconic. It only came out last year, but it's iconic at this point. The Breath of the Wild and Switch mashup. Like, name a more iconic duo from last year.
Last year, are you talking about like this console?
Just in general, in general, name a more iconic duo that came out of last year.
I mean, there's no other system that came out last year that I'm aware of, so it'd be kind of hard to do that. But if you want a comparison, I would say PlayStation 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn. But sure, yes.
Okay, no, that's fair ground. Actually, I never think in terms of PlayStation, so I won't give a fuck about Sony.
Okay, so I did this wrong. PC and Fortnite, I guess.
Oh no, that's actually that's true.
That's an unfortunate heavy contender. Yes. Actually, did Fortnite come out last year, or did it come out this year?
Came out last year. Well, I don't know about the PvE. The PvP for sure came out last year, and around June. Yeah, so they celebrated their 1 year a little while back.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't know yet. I'm gonna try do the trial, the demo for Octopath Traveler, because I don't want to spend money on a game that I'm not gonna pay, especially a game that looks good. right?
Yeah.
Not that it's a bad game. It's just I don't have much experience with turn-based games like that, and I don't know if they're necessarily my thing.
And I still need to find a way to get Mario Odyssey over in your direction without paying $30 in taxes and other import fees.
Oh.
Whether that means I just send you a paper envelope that's like Harry Potter style stamped all over the place, so I just pay for the shipping with $5 in stamps. That's fine too. And just kind of scribble in your name right in the dead center there.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. It just might end up being Zelda.
There was another thing I suggested that we're kind of like iffy on it. It was another modular thing where we posed a challenging question or a challenging review of a certain game. And so I would like to consider posing. Have you tried the game called, I think it's called Dragalia Lost or something like that?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about though?
No idea.
It is the first Nintendo IP, unique IP to come out for the mobile.
Okay.
It's out on the phone right now, and it's a Nintendo IP, but it was, it's not Mario or anything. It's brand new. It's Nintendo's, big jump into the mobile platform without using an actual, IP to piggyback on. So it's something to look forward to. Problem is, though, I got it installed. I haven't touched it yet. And a lot of people are saying how great it is and the music is, but it's 100% a gacha game. So we'll see if you want to, play it for more than an hour or two. What's that?
We'll give it a try. Might as well.
Man. Oh, Nick, I'm looking at you now. My poor little puppy whoppy. You look like you're burnt out already.
No, I'm looking it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm pushing for time at this point, and I still gotta, unfortunately, abuse you for a little bit more to get some catchphrases through at the beginning of those things. So I guess let's wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to say before we head on out?
I'm really excited.
Are you?
I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah.
You're excited to see what happens. I'm excited to make things happen, man. I'll fight you.
I mean, you fucking know what I mean. Phrasing. Like, we're gonna like.
I'm gonna one up you every single time, Nick.
I'm excited to see what the future holds for this, as cheesy as it is. But, I've got a little secret. That
What's that secret?
It's a secret. I can't tell the internet. Not yet.
Oh.
I can tell you.
Oh.
But I've got a secret. Yeah. Just look forward to the secret, guy. It's in relation to the podcast.
Okay. Are they going to eventually be able to hear it like in due time? Okay. I was going to say, that's one of the things I hate the most is like, if there is a secret, like for example, let's say my wife is like, I got a secret that I can't tell you. And it's like, why would you announce that?
No, because they want to tell you, and I want to tell you, but I don't want to say again. I don't want to make any false promises. So if the secret comes to fruition, if my efforts come to fruition, you'll find out on the first episode of Casual Master Quest Season 2. Yeah.
Cool. The Season 2, we're gonna do what Telltale could not, is finish our seasons. So
oof.
I know, Rand, that was a hard take.
They're gonna be hit with a class action lawsuit, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah, because there are, I can't remember the exact wording of the laws, but there are labor laws that say any company that knows that this is a paraphrase, mind you, and I could be very wrong, or somebody has to correct me here.
Loosely,
it basically said if they know they're going under or they have to lay off more than 100 people or so in the next like 60 or 30 days, they have to give people time to prepare and pay them properly and compensate them properly. They did none of that. And so there's a huge class action lawsuit headed their way soon.
Good.
Yeah.
Because, there's, to me, two different types of Telltale groups. There's Telltale, the developers, which are, eating the brunt of the negativity and all that stuff. And so many different fronts, too. Not only did they just lose their livelihoods, they're being, their asses are just being plowed by people saying, you should build and finish the game out of the kindness of your heart. So it's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's the stakeholders, the businessmen that made the decision because nothing affects them. They decided, this is not being as profitable as I wanted it to be, so I'm just gonna liquidate it, get all this dirt off my hands, make some money, and go home.
Yeah, the second group, the executives, obviously it's one versus the other at this point. So it's like, good on the developers getting a chance like this to make things right, because this is injustice and video game news right now. And it gets me a little fired up, just a little bit. So,
as it should.
If you want to, host on the show because you're part of the podcast group, or you want to make your break in the world, go ahead and email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. If you don't want to be on the show, but you have stuff that you want to say, you don't have a place to be heard, or maybe you just agree with us, or maybe
you just want to talk shit. At this point, I'd take anything. You want to talk shit? Fucking fight me.
Mr. Los, thank you for that long letter. There was one person in the group that didn't want to read the whole thing. I would totally read the whole thing right now. Go ahead and resend it. You can just send the same thing. It's okay, man. And but seriously, if you just want to talk, casualmasterquest@gmail.com. It's the name of the show @gmail.com. That's easy, right, guys? You can also follow us on Twitter @MasterQuestPod, because Casual Master Quest was either taken, I don't think it was, or it was just too big of a word. I couldn't do Casual Master Quest. Woohoo! So @MasterQuestPod. You can find me as the co-host / partner of this show @2XTyler, all letters, one word. Nick, where can we find all your stuff since I already sweet spotted my Twitch?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram @LRWarrior11. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/LRWarrior11. I stream Destiny 2, Overwatch, and a variety game every week. Overwatch, which I'm planning to get rid of. TBH.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure by the time they hear this, because of my new change in the schedule, I think I'm going to stream either. Well, for people who are listening, it should have happened already. I think, this Saturday or Sunday, tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to finish Skyward Sword. I want that done.
Finally, yeah.
That with my new schedule coming up, I can, I don't want to hold people up or anything like that, and then we can get going and find, something different. Right now, it looks like Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS. That's it's okay. I love how Nick is like Obama facing.
I never heard it, but why not?
Sure, it's like, okay, I've never heard it. Okay, anyways, thank you very much for thank you for listening. We do appreciate you guys listening and tolerating us. I know this was supposed to be like an in-between episode, but we had a couple of moments there. Jeez. Did we get offensive enough? I feel like we weren't offensive enough. I think hot dogs are wonderful, but the wife thinks it's disgusting, and I don't know why I married her. There we go. And so, thank you very much for listening to the in-between episode of Casual Master Quest, and don't forget to never stop the grind. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. I love this show so much.